G'day guys, Ben from Ausyak here to bring you another video. This one is going to be looking at a fishing diary. So a fishing diary is really important, and especially for beginners, but I actually rate it for everyone. The reason is that a fishing diary means that we can record very simple information like the time of day, the tide, maybe the temperature as well, and we can look at what kind of fish we caught, where we caught them. And the reason we might want to do that is because the next time we're in a similar location, or the next time we're looking to catch a particular fish, then we might have some ideas on what might be the best bait or the best lure or the best line or best tackle to use. So let's take a look at a very simple fishing diary. So guys, this is the fishing diary that I use. It's pretty comprehensive, as you can see, and I like to use it because it gives me a lot of detail. As I was saying before, it means that if I decide to return to a particular location, then I've got a good idea of what species I might find there, and I also know what's worked for me in the past. Or if I'm going to try and plan a trip in the future, then I can do something similar. Or if I'm looking to target a particular species and I know what's worked for me in one particular location, then I've got a pretty good idea that it might work for me somewhere else. So if we just work left to right fairly quickly, date, that's pretty self-explanatory, I think. Pressure is barometric pressure. So in Australia, we tend to sort of say 1020, or the barometric pressure being 1020, fish are plenty. So 1020, fish are plenty. And it tends to be the case, the higher the barometric pressure though. For some reason, I don't really understand it. Perhaps you could tell me, but for some reason when the barometric pressure is very high, the fish tend to be really good on the bite. So that's something to bear in mind, and I'd like to know if that's also the case where you are. The temperature, so some species are more of a cold water fish, I suppose, and other ones prefer particularly warm temperatures. So that is also a good pointer. The tide height, so obviously some species are more tidal than other ones, but particularly if you're fishing estuary systems and so on, this is a really good pointer, and it's a really good sort of item to know, I suppose. Wind, so particularly here we're looking at wind direction. So I tend to find where the places that I fish, which are Queensland and New South Wales in Australia, a southeasterly wind, for some strange reason, tends to be a huge bonus for the fish, and it tends to bring them onto the bite. But again, that's something that I'd really like to know. Does that work for you and where you fish? I don't know if that's a global thing or not. Moon phase, some fish are more affected by moon phase than other ones. So particularly around the time of a new moon as well, that can be a big determining factor. The time of day and the location are pretty self-explanatory. If you want to go for being really precise, then a GPS grid is a good thing to know. The actual species you caught. So you can set up, and this is just a very simple Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So to me, it's not a big deal, but you might just have like a drop-down sort of menu box on the main species that you target, and then you can figure out how it goes. The size, so this sort of goes back to some of the previous information. So again, time of year might influence the size and the numbers of the fish. So I've been interested to find recently that Tailor, which are also known as bluefish in America, have been hatching a lot in some of the smaller estuary systems, right up into the estuary systems, and that's been quite interesting for me. The rig and that you've used, and whether or not that works. Particular lures, you can also look at colours and stuff like that. I found pink lures tended to work really well for a long while on the Gold Coast when I was targeting things like flathead and so on, and also golden lures, but then that does change from time to time. A bait, so if you're using bait, then what sort of bait and maybe what size, and that can help give you some information for the next time you're going for it. So look guys, if you could just let me know, you know, is this a global thing, or you know, what works for you and where do you fish? That'd be really interesting to know. Okay, cheers. Well, thanks for watching. I'm going to be building my YouTube channel with an average of 2 videos per week, eventually covering all sorts of topics on kayak fishing, from reviews of gear, reviews of kayaks, location reports, even hook and cook type ideas for you. I'm looking forward to any comments or suggestions you might have. Please leave a comment below, or you can message me directly through YouTube. If you liked the video, please like it. Please feel free to share this video on other social media such as Facebook or Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, tight lines and stay safe.